Good evening. It's Sunday night, which can only mean one thing. It's Jibber Jabber podcast time, and tonight we have a phenomenal interview, if I don't say so myself. At least a really good one on Quarx's behalf, not mine. Tonight we are joined by Quarxx. I caught up with him through the week, so he's not here live, but we are. This is live, so we'll be able to play that interview as we talk about his film, his class wee film, Pandemonium. Before we chat about it, though, I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, Pandemonium.
On pense toujours.
Vous allez tous les deux aller en enfer pour ce que vous m'avez fait.
Je suis où?
J'accompagne les âmes avant qu'elles ne se fassent tourmenter pour l'éternité. Je serai votre accompagnant. Après la mort, il n'y a que l'enfer.
Vous êtes complètement fou.
La flatterie ne vous mènera nulle part.
Je vais être bien là-dedans.
Vous avez besoin de voir la réalité en face.
L'humanité est mauvaise par nature et doit expier.
J Mac, where did you go? Were you hiding?
Another room.
Another realm, which is kind of like
Aye.
what happens in Pandemonium. Mate, I've been speaking, since watching this film, I've been speaking about it to everybody, talking it up to everyone, because for me, one of the highlights so far this year, I yet have to hear what you had to say about it, J Mac. So do me a favour, pal. Tell me exactly what you thought about it.
I knew nothing really about this. I don't think I even watched the trailer before I watched the film. I've actually kind of stopped doing that because we've said it before, so much is given away in trailers sometimes, especially with, it seems to be at the far ends of the spectrum, big Hollywood stuff and independent stuff. The stuff in the middle tends to be all right, but the independent stuff seems to, like, things you don't know at the time you're watching the trailer, but as once you see the film, you're like, fuck, there's so much in the trailer that actually spoiled it for me.
Yeah.
So I never watched the trailer, but this film was very, very strange, very, very bleak, strangely funny, and very original. It's almost like an anthology film. Like there's 3 different stories going on, and they all intertwine in a certain way that we won't spoil. But the opening scene, which you see in the trailer, the first scene in the trailer is the opening scene, and it's 2 guys talking to each other next to a car crash, and it turns out they're both pan-breed. And it's quite interesting. The way their conversation goes is really, really well paced, really well put together. The acting's really good as well, by the way. I don't know, like the acting throughout the whole film was really good, but there was imagery that I'd never seen before. There was ideas I've never seen before. There was some stuff that I kind of had seen before, but done in a different way. And all in all, I thought it was really, really good. I think the IMDb score is either in the 5s or kind of bang on 6. I can't remember offhand. But I think that's really
IMDb
harsh.
score. It's 5.5. I think it deserves more.
Aye, that's harsh. I mean, for me, it's a solid kind of 6.8, maybe a 7. And Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this interview, by the way, because I've not seen it either.
Nah.
Because unfortunately I couldn't make it. And you have sent it to me, and I missed it because it was lost in the melee of a group chat.
It was lost in the mail. You got mail. Yeah, well, the interview's
You've no
coming up
got mail.
shortly. It is coming up very shortly. It was really nice of Quarxx to join us, and do you know, I really, really was like, I hope we don't miss this interview opportunity with him, because I really wanted to speak to him. Because when I say, like, I'm no joking, I'm going to get that DVD Blu-ray on disc. I need to get it. You know, the collector in me really likes the physical stuff, and if I love a film, I definitely go for that.
Me. £2
Why did you get that? Did you get that? Did you?
It just happened to be sitting here. No, I watched it on. I've got my DVD player connected to this monitor, so I watched it on this the other night.
You get a DVD player connected to a monitor. You do know that your PC has a DVD player, right?
No, it doesn't.
Does yours not?
No, a lot of the newer ones just done away with. You need to buy it externally.
Well, no, I know my laptop's the same, right? But I've got the external disc player there. It's like this size, and when you plug it into your computer, ta-da! It's now a thingy. Save you having to put a big DVD player up.
This DVD player must be, looking at it, is probably 15 years old. It's not a Blu-ray player; it's a DVD player. But I was given it for free by a guy at my work, so never going to turn away some free stuff. He gave me that. He gave me a VHS player. He gave me a bunch of VHSs. So very nostalgic room this right now.
You can. He's just getting rid of his old shit, right?
Oh, 100%. He said
his
that.
wife's telling him to get to fuck.
No, he said that. He's like, I'm cleaning out my garage. I have to get rid of some stuff. Do you want to have a sift through it and see what you want? I was like, well, I'll take that DVD player. I'll take these videos. He had like Top Gun and that in video, but then he also had like Take That and a lot of Celtic videos. So, I mean, you know me. If I was to support a team, I probably would go that way rather than the other way. But
fair dues.
they all got sent back to him. Like, nah, no gonna think.
So Matthewman says, "Evening, gents. Interesting wee movie. The start scene was by far my favourite part of the movie." I actually read out a wee couple of comments from Matthewman to Quarxx, which he was very flattered by. So that's pretty cool. The interview will briefly be upon us. I actually adore this film. I can't actually speak highly of it enough. I'm going to just give you a wee bit of background on the film. So this wee lassie is like the third wheel here, and these two guys that have woke up dead. And then there was two gates presented, one's heaven and one's hell. And the guy that was on his way to heaven was like, "Here, I'm on my way to heaven." And then he was like, "No, you're no. The gate's not letting him through," because then this wee lassie suddenly shows up, which means she's obviously died from whatever has happened before they died, right? So the result is that she's dead. She's kicking about, getting all the patter. They didn't like her, so she was booted through the gates of heaven. She's one of the only ones that go through heaven, because mankind is flawed. And these are the two guys here that are arguing. One's called Daniel, and the other's called Nathan. And they're just like, "Oh, I'm dead, you're dead. I was drinking."
The guy that played Daniel to me really reminded me of Joaquin Phoenix.
I did have a wee,
like, in a lot of ways, like just the way he presented himself, like, even facially, he really reminded me of like modern era, like Joker era, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get it out of my mind when I was watching him. I was like, "That's fucking Joaquin Phoenix, a Frenchman, Joaquin Phoenix."
This person reminded me of Lizzo. I'm just kidding.
And banned.
There's so much to this film that, like, I mean, look, visually as well, so beautiful. So Quarxx is an artist as well. So, the way that he perceives things is through image, and it's the great thing about him is he's really good at taking what's in his head and bringing it to life, whether that's in image form, painting, or clearly really well done films. Quarxx has a couple of films that I need to actually check out previously, and he's working on one as well that he kind of touched upon that we didn't go too much into. But again, that'll be something that he really loves to do. So something that doesn't it'd be good if he could get a great budget for it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he needs a great budget. He'll still be able to make it work. All the Gods in the Sky is a previous film from 2018 that I will check out and we will talk about because can't get enough. Quarxx is my favourite French director and writer.
Who's your second favourite?
He is unmatched. He is unmatched in that category. Okay.
Oh man, I'll give you one.
What?
Denis Villeneuve.
Well, do you think Villeneuve is better than Quarxx?
He made Blade Runner 2049 in June 2. He's doing all right.
I enjoyed Pandemonium more than I enjoyed Dune.
I haven't watched Dune yet. That's the funny thing.
Listen to us. Dune. Dune.
Wait, when you say it like that, anytime we mention it, it's like, oh, mate, I finally got around to watching Dune.
June. Because we can't call it June.
That's the thing. It's like, it's pronounced. I mean, I think the Americans pronounce the word dune, like sand dune. Like they say dune. But we can't call it dune because dune means something else to us. It's that way.
Down.
Aye.
Yeah.
So we need to call it June, which is a fucking month.
So there you and I are sitting here tonight like, I've not seen Dune.
It's funny how we both did it as well.
It's because we're aware that Americans like this show. So we're like, yes, we watched a Dune. Janice says, hey guys, hey Janice. Lovely to
Hello.
see you here tonight. So it's class. To remind everybody, we are live on TikTok also. You can only see me because J Mac doesn't have 1,000 followers yet. So go and follow J Mac so you can maybe see us on TikTok. Hi TikTok. Aye.
Do you think
cool,
I could
man.
log in as? Do you think I could log in as us as well and co-host?
No.
No?
Hell no.
Ah,
No,
that's
just
rubbish.
kick me out. I know, fun and games, eh? But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and play the interview very briefly. But I would like to tell you all that you can go ahead and order Pandemonium. You just go to the Arrow store. You can the pre-order is coming. It's available soon because I was unable to buy it.
Right, so it's a pre-order.
Yeah. But the film actually did release, was it the 27th of May? Was the 27th of May, 2024. And it's distributed by Arrow Video, which, by the way, looks beautiful. If you look here on the image of Tony and the wee devil herself, you look just at the bottom there, you'll see.
Hey, that looks like me in every school photo.
You never.
It's like before every school photo, they would always comb my hair, and that's how I'd end up looking.
That's class.
Just look natural, Jordan. Just look natural.
Yeah.
All right.
It's you. but if you look at the bottom there, you'll see beautiful. It's a slip-off cover, comes with an alternate imagery for the cover, which I love. You got a poster, and Quarxx also told me that there was wee Easter eggs in there that you might not have seen. So there's a lot to get your hands on.
Literally a lot to unpack.
A lot to unbox. What can I say? The limited edition contents are high definition Blu-ray presentation. Sorry, not restoration. Original uncompressed stereo 5.1 is the best because when you're sitting in your living room watching it, you want to hear everything behind you as well as in front of you. Optimal English subtitles. Optional. It's late. Optimal.
It's just funny, man. Every week it happens. Every week you say something daft, you're like, oh, I'm tired.
I always am.
I know you're always
textures.
tired, man. You wake up tired, you go to bed tired. Everywhere in between, you're tired.
I should get always tired under my eye thing. He's like, what's his name? Post Malone. So different textures, a brand new interview with writer. So there's a Quarxx interview on that. Imagine this one was on it. That would have been so cool. Tony the Monster, a brand new interview with the writer director Quarxx, special makeup effects. All the behind the scenes that you could want. The making of featurette, which, come on, man, I have to have this.
Makeup was phenomenal, by the way. Just saying.
Outstanding. That's $24.99. You can purchase that. So please go ahead and do so because it just blew my mind. It's all in Italian now. It's all in French.
It's on Francis. Francis.
It's on France. You need to wait till it comes over. it's all in French, but I actually said to Quarxx, right, which kind of blew his mind a wee bit as well, that when I think about the film, I remember it in English.
That's
You know what I
because
mean?
you're a horrible British person that can't think outside the box.
No, but I go back and I think about it and I go, come to think of it, like when I'm recalling the scenes, they're speaking to me. The characters are speaking to me in English, which is mental when you think of it, right?
Yeah, I think our brains just do that. Do you know what I mean?
Aye,
If
I
you,
know.
I mean, that's
And I think
that's what subtitles do. I think like, it breaks the barrier, breaks the wall down, and lets us watch things we wouldn't normally be able to watch, and then our brains translate it. Not they don't translate it. They put the
welcome
images
to the show,
together.
Quarks. Mhm.
What the fuck
Do you
happened
not
there?
think? Sorry, I was getting it ready and it went mental. But do you not think though that it's actually a compliment to Quark's work? The fact that it so effortlessly remains in my mind as
Yeah,
I don't have to try hard at all to enjoy that film.
yeah. It was very engaging.
Yeah.
And it does grab your attention from the beginning, and it holds it throughout. For me, it did slow down a wee bit with one segment. I didn't quite gel with it as much, and I don't know if it just made me feel too uncomfortable, which is a good thing, I suppose, for this type of film. But I found it hard to connect with it because I just couldn't imagine it. But
Well,
again, we could probably talk about that. He might talk about it.
well,
I don't know.
Quarks pretty much goes into that. So, without further ado, I'm going to take us away and play this interview here that we have with Quarks. Welcome to the show, Quarks. Legend of a guy. All right, away you go. It's an actual pleasure for me because I need to let you know that Pandemonium, for me so far, has been the movie of 2024. Because
wow, that's quite something.
Yeah, and you know, I don't tend to, and it's not through choice, but I don't see a lot of films that I would watch subtitles with, right? But I don't mind them. Apocalypto is probably one of my favorite films, and that was subtitled the whole way through.
Great one.
When I watched Pandemonium, I could not, honestly. It was one of those films for me that after I watched it, I went to bed that night thinking about it. I woke up the next day still thinking about it, and I've told all my friends, and now I'm here to tell all the listeners to watch this. Do you know, there's a wee thing about myself is I'm a huge collector of physical media. So for me to buy something physically, I need to really love it, and I'm 100% going to get the Arrow edition of this because it really just blew my mind. So it's actually a pleasure to be speaking to you here, and I can't wait to pick your brain about it.
Really happy to hear that. I just received my my Blu-ray.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
So
there it is.
Yeah. I'm happy to.
Brilliant. Actually, that's going to be the one I'm going to get. The local HMV here usually stocks a lot of them, but I think I'll just pre-order it on the Arrow store.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Good idea. Thank you very much for your feedback. I'm very happy that you did enjoy the movie, and you have great words about it. So thanks a lot.
Absolutely. One of the things I was going to ask you first, really, is what are your favorite films? What kind of films inspired you to make this movie?
Every time I should prepare myself to that question, because every time people are asking me that question, it's like I have so many films in my mind, and everything I say, a couple of titles here, then I regret it an hour later because I said, damn it, I should have said this and I should have said that. So you said what film inspired me to make Pandemonium?
Yeah, so what kind of films inspire you?
I really tried actually to it's a difficult challenge, but I try not to get too many inspiration. I try to avoid that as much as I can, even though you don't want it. Everybody is the product of everything that you've seen or you've heard through the course of your life. So even on an unconscious level, you are reinterpreting something that you've seen. But I really try to keep my own path. But that doesn't mean there's no influence, because I wanted to well, we can talk about this maybe later, but I paid a tribute, for example, to a film like The Beyond from Lucio Fulci, the way he depicted hell, and that's but we can go into that later if you want. But as we're talking about films, that I can't really tell you a title that inspired me to make that film, because there was none, to be honest.
Right, that's brilliant. It's like kind of coming up with a new color, something that's so hard to do, and you can't really fathom what a new color looks like, because it just is unavailable in your head. So I think it's a great place to start from.
Absolutely, and also Pandemonium was for me an exercise of freedom. I also wanted to experiment some a different narrative, a destructured narrative, which I didn't want to make an anthology, but you can also say that it's an anthology, but it's not really an anthology. And because there's really a path that wraps around everything, and the story of that. And so yeah, that's great for me, exploration, and the way when I'm writing, it's the same spirit I have. Let's try not to make something that people have already seen too many times. And I don't know if I succeed, but that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I loved it. I felt, I really felt like there was no formula to watching Pandemonium, which was what I loved, because the amount of, I consume movies like J Mac and I, we always, right? So for me, watching Pandemonium, I was like, oh, okay. I felt like I was trying to puzzle it together, but so in such a relaxed way. It felt to me that when I watched, I went, the creator here, right, has clearly had freedom to create what the creator wants and not follow a set guideline. And I could tell that, and that really excited me, because I just honestly didn't know what was coming next. And the fact that it is broken up, you got different elements. Pardon me. You have different elements and different stories that all tie into the one, right? And I'm really fascinated with the idea of the afterlife. And you play with that so masterfully. Is that something that you're quite passionate about? Is that the theory of afterlife?
Well, we are all concerned at some point by that subject, unfortunately, So of course, throughout the course of your life, you're thinking about it that's here and then, and of course, I think it makes a great storyline, and you can really play with it, because it's it's a playground where nothing is defined. You don't have any rules, so it's also a great way to be creative, because you can do pretty much whatever you want, and you can reinvent the rules of life or the rules of the afterlife, because it's the big unknown. So I think it's a very creative aspect, a very creative background in order to be able to put up some weird and crazy stories, and not being concealed into too much reality on this one.
Yeah. Well, I love there was a lot, though. There was a lot of reality in there that also has you still asking questions. And I like the way that the way that you take, so we all know, sometimes you'll see on a news report, right? A man walks in and kills 3 kids, and you're like, what? Because we can't understand that as sane human beings. We go, what inspires someone to do such a thing? And I love that your movie has almost an answer to that, like a theory on how they create an Antichrist. And see when I saw that, not only did it puzzle together different parts of the film, I went, oh, okay, this kind of explains the little girl who this is the little girl in the film, which I thought, by the way, she was phenomenal as an actress.
She's going to be very pleased to hear that. But she's she's such a great comedian, such a talented kid that it was a blessing really to be able to work with her in such also a complicated and difficult role, which is not really meant to be played well for a little girl. Is the environment is very dark and everything. It was all cool with it, and we laughed a lot during the filming, but she was so great.
Yeah, I think it really was, and almost there's the relationship she has with Tony almost feels kind of like Chunk and Sloth from the Goonies. There's almost that same kind of, in a sense.
I get it. Well, I didn't see I've seen the Goonies, but back in 1986 when it just got released, right? So you have to give me some credit. I sort of forgot, but I can see if
that's great. I was right in thinking though, Tony's character. My interpretation of Tony was that he was, without spoiling anything, his character was almost like, so I think you see that in this film that everybody has flaws, and we're supposed to just go, right, we're all flawed, and it's highlighted several times. My interpretation of Tony's character was that he was coming back to correct his Antichrist, and that he somehow just kind of got lost doing that, and that Antichrist was so powerful that the influence then was coming from that, and kind of almost made Tony, an accomplice as opposed to a bounty hunter. Was I quite correct in that, or?
But that's great, because I love
Yeah.
when people are trying to make their own connection and
Yeah.
trying to interpret their own stories. And sometimes it's very interesting for me, because I'm hearing very interesting stuff, and sometimes stuff that I didn't think about, but I'm
Right.
thinking, "Yeah, that's right, that's very interesting."
Yeah.
So I love theories like that. Well, for me, Tony is more of the reflection of the inner side of that little girl, that the monster is inside this little girl that killed all her
Right.
family. And in order to deal with the remorse, she's rather invent herself a monster that lives in the cellar, because she doesn't have to deal with it. It's
Right.
Tony that did it. It's not her. So in
Yeah.
order the blame on someone else, in order then to have to deal with the pain and the grief of having killed both her parents, she's inventing Tony the monster. That's my
Right.
own theory, but that doesn't mean that it's the right one.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Aye, when I was trying to put together, because for me at the end where the demon-like thing is sent to collect the Antichrist that it created, for me I thought, well, that maybe is where Tony has come from, because she's definitely an Antichrist. So,
Absolutely. No, but
then I thought,
yeah,
because not
following-
everybody in the world does their job right. Okay, so why in the other world would everybody do their job right? What if
exactly
he came
that
back
was-
to collect the Antichrist?
Yeah,
So
it's true. It's true.
this is
It was a malfunction.
this is absolutely what I love about Pandemonium, is the fact that there's so much talking points, right? There's so many conversations in there with all the themes about everything, so much where it comes to the parent and the daughter as well. You instantly.
I like to put little details here and then that you can pick it up and then try to figure out the puzzle. And it's very small things, like a word that changes everything sometimes. And
Yeah.
I like that very much, because I really think that the devil is into the detail. I'm
Yeah,
respecting
totally.
the devil here, so we needed to put a lot of details.
Mhm.
And I'm glad about everything that you say, because I don't really like a popcorn movie. I like movies that either you can hate it or you can really love it. That's really fine.
Yeah.
But I like things that stick in your mind for a couple of days, and then you have argument with your friend, because some say, "Oh, that was horrible. I hated that film," and some are, "Oh, you didn't understand anything. This film is so great." And I like that. I like that very much. I like to give emotion, to the audience, whether it's good or bad. But I think the worst thing for me is to leave the audience bored, or just like it can happen, of course, but this is something I try to avoid. And
No moments were wasted in this film at all. It's a roller coaster. I would say there's more lows than highs, but in a sense that it's not like a low that makes you regret watching it. It's one that makes you try to understand it, and the characters. There's points in that film where I was like I genuinely was like, oh no, because you can see some of the things coming when it starts to build to certain things, like the cooker scene. That for me was like, no, and just the dialogue as well. The dialogue was so innocent and so very childlike that,
that's right.
When you
see sometimes Manon, which this is the name of the comedian that played this little girl, and sometimes she came on to me and she said, Quarxx, I'm a little girl, so I know how little girl talk, right? So let me change the little things here and then. I'm thinking, what?
Brilliant! She's going to go far.
Then she did, and he was really good. He was really good. So that was very funny.
That's excellent. Actually, every performance in this was brilliant. Really made you feel from the get-go at the crash, where you're witnessing two people realizing that there's an afterlife, and the first thing you would say is, so it does exist. So I love that everything really is like, you watch certain movies and you're like, people just wouldn't say that. Everything in this film is exactly what people would say. Like, you're going to be here for 4,000 years, but
that's right.
4,000 days, but that's longer. You know what I mean?
It's 4,000 years.
Yeah. Who's in charge here? That's the first. Like, I've barely done anything to deserve this. You really would protest it rather than just
100%. I would protest that.
Right, so visually as well, this film looks beautiful. The gates, right? I mean, in certain films, depending on budget, you could create a gate and have it looking like polystyrene. Everything you created looks exactly how you would assume it would. Was that a challenge to get it, or did you working with some amazing team?
Yeah, it was a huge challenge because the budget was so small and we were leaking money everywhere. It was such a scare for me that it shows on screen that I don't have much money, so I really wanted to make things really neat. So we worked we had like a 6 or 7 months preparation in order to shoot the film, and we worked so hard before the shooting with my DP and with the set decoration people, and but also during the shooting we had all the problem in the world because you see the beginning of the film that we had this huge storm coming onto us. Well, you know what? That's right, you cannot really plan. We knew that it was in the middle of spring, right? So actually it was supposed to be like sort of sunny, and we were all there with shorts and slippers, and the temperature fell to minus 15 degrees, and we had such a huge wind, and all the door were flying away, and it was a nightmare to film actually, that part. But we're really happy, of course, with the result. And from my background, it's like for 15 years I used to be a painter. Going back to painting actually now, but I stopped for 10 years, but I'm going back to it right now. And for me, image is really important. I think you tell the story with the script. That's the most important, of course, but the form and the way you are telling the story visually is as important, I think, as the story itself. And I think sometimes, not many times, but sometimes I'm watching films and I'm thinking, well, like the director, he didn't have a strong idea of what he wanted, and you can feel when it's a DP movie and when the guy just let the DP just and I don't like it. I think you need to have a strong vision of what you want, and you have to work it. You have to work hard in order to make it happen on screen, and I think that's what we did. And maybe if we had a bigger budget, I think maybe we would have cared maybe a little bit less. But we were so scared about let's make the best of what we have. Let's really be ingenious and let's have ideas and let's be smart about it. It's like
yeah, totally. I think I speak to so many directors, writers all the time, and one of the best things they'll say is, some of the best work comes from having a lower budget because it pushes you to find ways to create something that you maybe wouldn't have to rely on otherwise if you had.
It's true. It's true. To be honest, I wouldn't mind having a bit more, but
of course.
But it's true. It's true. Lack of budget sometimes means more creativity and less pressure. And that's exactly what I wanted to do also with that film, because I was working on a project, on a film script with a lot of producers just before Pandemonium, and I didn't have that creativity that I needed, and I was really getting crazy about it. So I said, I'm going to take a year break, and I'm going to just do my film. I'm going to do my own stuff, very creative freedom, and that's exactly what I did, and that was it was a blessing to be so free, and. No pressure whatsoever. Let's try a different path. Let's experiment and let's make a crazy movie. Yeah, this is what we did.
Well, see, I always say this, right? Because it's my observation of artists in music, right? They come out with their debut album and it's phenomenal. It changes the world, right? It changes their life completely. And then their second and third album don't quite hit the spot, right? For most artists. And I say, people are always like, why is this? And I say, well, they spend their whole life creating this piece of art, which is their first album, and then they're told and whipped to make the second and third. I says, that's why. So my question to you is, with you having the freedom to make Pandemonium, would you think that your next film, if they gave you a big budget, do you think you could match just how good Pandemonium was?
Yes, definitely, and you will see that soon. I'm starting preparation in September for my upcoming film. I don't have the title in English yet, but in French it's called Les Âmes en peine, and it's very strong, man. It's really strong. I think it's the best film I've written so far, and I'm really, really pleased about the result of that story. It's super strong, super crazy, super dark, super intense, and you'll be the judge. But
wow.
And we don't. The problem here in France is I have the most difficult time in the world to produce my film. To be honest, I'm really tired about government aids, government fund, because they really don't get shit about what I'm doing. It's always too dark, too violent, too blah blah blah, and it takes like years in order to say no. So you're just waiting like for 2 and 3 years, and after 3 years, finally we decided we're not gonna do it. So I refuse to pass anymore. Now I'm only looking for private equity. I'm looking for people like me. Give me, raise the fund, and this is exactly what I'm doing on my upcoming project, Les Amants Peines.
Good.
I have two other projects in development that it's signed. We're working with the Bluefinch. We have international sales. We have a production company. Everything, but it's been 2 years and I cannot find the budget. For 2 years for one and 4 years for the other one. So this is so crazy. So I know that the one that I'm doing in September, I'm going to do it because I'm going to do it with private investment. And this is the best way to go because,
Yeah, that's good. That's great to hear because then we know it's going to be your vision completely. I work in the cinema industry and it's down 45% from last year, which is staggering. I think there's not a lot of money out there now to really play with, which is why we need to find other ways. Crowdfunding is a great way. I've got a lot of friends that have made films through crowdfunding.
I don't like crowdfunding too much, but because you have to reveal too much about your film, you have to please, you have to tease too much, and it's like, please give me money. I am tired of doing that, so I used to go to crowdfunding ordeal anymore. I've done it with the short films before, but and it's a great way for some people. I understand that it's every means is okay in order to make your film, but I think I'm lucky enough now to be able to find the proper financement without going to crowdfunding or without going to government funds, which is the worst.
Nah, it makes sense. I understand that. I have a question about the gates, right? So we saw what's beyond the gate of hell, and it pretty much is either what you would expect or worse. But did you, when you were writing Pandemonium, at any point did you have a thought about what was beyond the gate of heaven?
That's a good idea. That's a good question. Actually, no, it's very open. On a personal level, I'm not really religious. I'm not even really a believer. So for me, it's a great way to tell stories. But I think what's behind the door of heaven is whatever makes you happy. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So it must be very different from many people. It's not like one that's what I thought. I would think. It's not one defined heaven, but heaven is shape shifting in order to please you. That is behind. That's what should heaven must be. Like that. Yeah.
I would assume pretty much the same. I would, as much as you said that this almost kind of had a bit of anthology in it, I would love to see more set in the same universe as Pandemonium, where we see more of the characters. There's of course Tony, and then there's this fella who was terrifying. Actually, this fella, even though Luke's terrifying, was actually pretty nice, right? Because you didn't have to answer any questions, right? You're in hell, and I felt that guy, he's a real MVP. But I would love to see these characters again. And I'd love to see more of what's going on. Is your next film maybe centered in the same universe, or would you make?
No, not at all. It's taking place in the 19th century, so that's very. It's going to be a different, total different universe and a very very different story. But I would love, to go back to Pandemonium because there is so many more things I can say about it. And at the beginning, and I had many stories actually. Like I only put like 2 outside story compared to the Nathan story, but I had like 6 or 7, and I had to make a choice. Otherwise, I would have made like a 5 hours long movie.
I wouldn't complain.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But if I have a chance of getting back to that universe, and I'd be very pleased to do so. At some point last year, we got contacted a little bit by Netflix saying that we were talking about a series at some point. I would have loved. I would love to make a series out of it. I would really enjoy it so much because I like those characters. I like this hellish universe that I could exploit much more. And so, yeah, I would love to please you by getting back to it. Fortunately,
Yes.
right now it's not on the agenda, but who knows what the future is made of.
There's still time, and I'm going to tell everybody about this film because for me, like, it was just so different, but so refreshing to have something from the norm, something that isn't something that you'll find scrolling Netflix. Pandemonium for me, really, again, when I leave the screen and I'm actually thinking about the film and I'm looking up where the pre-orders are for the physical release, that to me is a is a big win. I've got a couple questions here that I asked on social media. Craig Matthewman wrote, "This would make a cracking TV series, each week with a different story," which we just covered there. He also goes on. Yeah, he also goes on to say the hell scenes are similar to the 1981 Lucio Fulci movie, The Beyond.
Absolutely.
Was this one of your inspirations?
Yes, absolutely. It's not really an inspiration regarding the film, as I said before, but it's more of a tribute because The Beyond from Lucio Fulci was the second or the third film I've ever seen in my life when I was 6.
Yeah.
I went to Walt Disney, Bernard and Bianca, to Lucio Fulci, The Beyond, and that was a great gap. You know, it was a huge gap. It was a great shock for me. I was traumatized. I was terrified. But watching that film, I remember vividly that I said to myself, "That's what I want to do with my life. This is exactly what I want to do. I want to tell those crazy emotional stories and give the audience this feeling of emotion, of scare, of sadness, of joy, and everything." And this is why I put his depiction of hell from The Beyond to Pandemonium, because it was sort of a way to sign the contract that I had done with myself being a kid, you know.
Yeah.
So it was more of a tribute than an inspiration, but I really love this movie. Is very special for me, and it influenced my life, my personal life, because maybe it's because of that movie that I became what I am actually today, a filmmaker. So yeah, that's not nothing.
That's amazing. No, that's amazing. It's a great tribute. J Mac says here, loved the opening, laughed when the wee girl was doing the biker's head in, and he launches her through the door of the heaven, which is this wee girl here who yeah, she gets a little lippy, and then she ends up getting thrown through the gate. Also went on to say, loved the dark humor. I assume it was way more intentional. The makeup was fantastic. Great story segments. Loved the way it came full circle. All of the performances were spot on. So that's great. We always put it out to our listeners to anybody that's seen it to ask you questions or leave them. It seems that everybody that I've spoken to so far really loves it. I know I'm short on time here, so I'm not going to keep you any longer. I will let you know that you are my favorite French filmmaker and will remain.
It's very nice to hear that. I'm very touched. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
I'm going to look at all your previous work, and I cannot wait for your next.
You can take All the Gods in the Sky. I'm sure that if you like Pandemonium, you love it as much. Certainly,
absolutely.
You can find it. You're in the UK, right? Or are you in?
Yeah, Scotland.
Because it's going to be distributed by Shudder
Shudder.
In a few months, but you can find it online. All the Gods in the Sky. I recommend, of course.
Of course, and I'll watch it, and I'll even talk about it on the show, and I'll keep up to date with what you guys are doing as well. I can't give Pandemonium any more praise than I already have. I'm telling everybody to watch it, and then you know what's funny? See, Scottish people very lazy. They don't like to read while they're watching a film, right? But I says 5 minutes in, you'll forget your reading. You will forget your reading. You will be, you'll be through that portal. And you'll be on the ride, eh?
And it's so much better, I think, to watch a film in its original language. You know, whether we were hesitating about dubbing the film, but in some countries it's dubbed. But really, I wanted to keep the English audience like the real feeling and the real way that the actors were playing. I think you're missing all that when you're dubbing a film. As good as it can be, you're missing out on something. And so I think that would have been a bummer, but I'm so glad that you like it as much as you did.
Absolutely, I really do. In my head, when I remember it in English, which is the craziest thing.
It's a good sign.
So Tony speaks English in my head, but when I watch it, he's speaking French. So I mean, I actually never thought about that until we just spoke about it there. But actually, the characters speak English in my head.
That's funny. That's funny. It's a very good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been phenomenal. It's been amazing to chat to you, Quarxx. Definitely keep in touch. And next time you got something coming up, your next movie, feel free to jump back on. We'll chat about it. I'm going to keep an eye on everything that you do because, like I says, Pandemonium was it for me. So I'll keep on plugging that here on the show and let everybody know that it is worth going out and actually spending the money to get it physically to add to the great physical. Because Arrow have done a great. You can see it at the bottom here.
They did an amazing job with the packaging and with all the products. We have so many goodies inside, so many little Easter egg on that Blu-ray. So it's always cool. It's true to have like a physical thing for really the people that love cinema and love the film. It's so cool to have the real thing in your place.
Definitely is. I've got thousands of them, and I'll get another one. Another reason for my wife to complain. More physical media, but it's going to take its place up on the shelf. Again, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Same
and
here.
We will definitely catch up, all right?
Great.
Right.
Have a great one.
You too. Thanks again, Quarxx. Thanks. Cheers, mate. Jay Mack, you're muted, my friend. You're sitting talking to nobody.
What's new?
What a sound guy Quarxx is, right?
It was.
That's
do you know
nice
what's
guy.
funny though? At one point, after listening to him for a certain amount of time, I just had to go and eat a croissant.
Did you actually eat one?
Aye. I did.
Amazing.
I was trying to save the last bit so I could go, look, I was eating a croissant, but I just couldn't because it was too good. But
fair enough.
man, that guy was cool. I liked him.
Very
I
nice.
liked him. Gutted I missed that.
Well, hey, he said he'll come back on. You heard it here, folks. By the way, Pandemonium limited edition Blu-ray is only 18 quid right now, reduced from 24.99. So grab it while it's on offer.
Grab it while it's
I'm gonna
hot. Grab it while it's hot.
No longer
fact,
a pre-order. You
Do
can
you,
get
do,
now.
you, do, you want to bite the bullet, Kev? Do you want to do this live on air? We'll both just order a wee copy of
I'm going to do it after the
Pandemonium.
show. I'll do it after the show.
Aye, right. Gets off the show. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. No.
Hey, I will put a screenshot of my order on the stories, so anybody that doesn't believe, right, watch. But you should date as well, J Mac. No, I'm definitely getting it, mate.
Right now.
There's no way I'm not getting it. Do you know what would make me not get it? If it wasn't so beautiful. Like, see if it was just your average looking Blu-ray. Here, I'm going to share the screen here so everybody knows what they're getting and where to go get it. All right. Here you can see it. I'm just going to take that that way. Here you can see it there. Look, 18 smackaroonies, right? Reduced. So what's your excuse? If you like great cinema, great film, great storytelling, get over to arrowfilms.com. Search for Pandemonium. That's Panda and then Monium. And look at this beautiful thing. I can't wait to unwrap it and show you all it getting unwrapped, because one thing Arrow can do, and that's put together a hell of a package. Look at that. Amazing. So go ahead and order that up right now, and let's chat about it more in the future, because it was excellent. Loved it. Loved. And by the way, I even told Quarxx in the interview that I don't tend to watch a lot of films that are subtitled, right? And it's not because of me. It's really my wife.
Because they're on Italian, eh?
It's all on Italian, man. I do what I read. But, like, so for me, my favourite film that I have to read with subtitles was always Apocalypto. Apocalypto.
That was very Scottish, wasn't it? Apocalypta.
Apocalypto.
Please get.
Yeah. Pardon me. That was always my favourite film to watch, subtitled. And it's now got a wee enemy, because it was so good. It was so good.
I think mine's is still The Hunt.
The Hunt, mate. I've got that there. You got me it, and I've not watched it yet.
When you say I got you, do you just still have my copy of it?
No, I'm sure you get. Did you not buy me it? No, you bought me it.
Did
you not? Yeah.
I didn't think I was that generous.
Yeah. I've got Terkel and Trouble still sitting up there. I know.
Oh, yeah, that was only like £3. Okay.
Was the hunt no the same? Because it's on DVD.
No.
Really?
I don't think it ever had a Blu-ray.
Right.
And for some reason it's missing from my collection, so fucking give it back.
Fair dues. I'll watch it, give you it back, and we'll talk about it.
Have you still never watched it?
Do you know what? I haven't. It's because
Oh God, man.
mate, we get
My
sent movies like every week to review. You think I've got time to watch something that's on Italian? I'm
Hey,
kidding.
give Big Mads Mikkelsen a shout. He might come on and talk about it.
Aye, I will. I'll definitely check it out, right? And I'll give you it back. If I'm sure you gave it to me to keep though.
Aye. All right.
No, I'm joking. Well, I'll definitely check it out. I bet you Matthewman's seen it. Matthewman says some of the most brutal horror movies I've ever seen have been French. Still not watched Martyrs again. Yeah.
I've seen the remake of Martyrs, which annoys me because I wish I'd just watched the original.
Well, I'm going to watch the original when I get round to it. I just didn't get as much time, but I will. I'll make it time. Terkel in Trouble is fucking excellent.
Thing is, I bought it for you, bought it for me. You were like, "Here, mate, this is class." I'm like, "Mate, I can't get through this. It's fucking rubbish."
heavy enjoyed it, mate. Heavy.
Aye.
I did.
But anyway, this Pandemonium was very, very different and very, very. I was going to say fun. It's not fun at all. It's not fun in the slightest. Actually, it's pretty bleak, but it makes you think, and it does give you the odd chuckle. But it's always like, I mean, it's like gallows humor. It's really, really dark humor.
Yeah.
But no, I loved it.
It is very thought provoking and very masterfully told, and everybody acts phenomenally in it. Phenomenally.
Phenomenon.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
No, it is. I can't sing its praises high enough. So what we in right now? June.
Yeah.
God,
already, by the way.
Right.
It's
June,
already June. I'm getting closer to death every single minute.
I give it to December, and I'm going to see if there's any film that tops it this year. Right. We've got Beetlejuice coming out, right, and Moana 2. But so far, Pandemonium kicking their ass. And I think, see, at the end of this year, J Mac, you and I should do like Kev and Jay Mack's year in review, where we take our top 5 movies that we've not only seen but reviewed on this show, right, and we put them up against each other and say an ultimate winner. And then what we'll do is we'll design a wee thing and send it to whoever. We'll send it to Quarxx because he's obviously winning so far. Yeah.
Well, that's a great idea. We'll get a wee 3D printed trophy. Just you and me like that.
You won the Jibber Jabber. We'll come up with a good wee name for it, but I think.
Mate, how funny would that be if we sent that to a really shit film and then they started peddling their film saying it was award winning?
The winner of a Jibber Jabber. That'd be class. Beaster Bunny award winning.
Oh man, that would definitely win a fucking Jibber Jabber.
We'll need a couple categories: the review, the watch along, and something else, right? And watch along of the year, right? We'll get. We have to do it now. We have to do it now. I'll have to send them to the offices or whatever.
That's brilliant. Please do that. That's class.
Well, let's do it. We're gonna let's do it. It'll be funny.
Okay,
it'll be funny. But so far, Pandemonium is definitely a front runner. Please watch it. Thank you for everybody that's tuned in. Thank you for everybody that's going to go ahead and watch it. I know it's sometimes you're listening to what we're telling you. Go watch it, and you're like, I don't know whether to trust these guys, but I promise you, when you watch this, you will not be disappointed, and it will stay with you long after you've turned your telly off. You'll stay in here, right, and it'll make you think, and it'll make you feel, and those are the best kind of films. So
I'm very feel.
I am very feel.
I love that guy so much, by the way. I love him. He's a quality human being. Quality. Yeah. I hope he beats everybody that he ever fucking fights.
Well, he has, so
I hope he keeps going.
Yeah, but so I thank you all for taking our word, tuning in tonight, and thank you to Arrow for sending us this brilliant film that we might never have seen before. Thank you.
But there's no might about it. We would never have seen this.
Oh, never. No, it wouldn't have popped up on our radar. But thankfully, we do. We get films from these guys, and we're very lucky to be in that position, and very lucky that they give us the opportunity to speak to not only people involved in the project, but people that made it. You know, so huge thanks to the guys at Fetch, the guys at Arrow. You guys actually like kick utter arse. Quote Jibber Jabber podcast. You guys actually kick utter arse.
Utter arse, not just normal arse. Like utter arse.
There's a lot of arse being kicked around here. And it's all for the betterment. All for the betterment. I'm gonna go now and I'm gonna pre-order that and I'm gonna put it on my Instagram story as a guarantee that I'll actually do it because no chance. I'm not letting you do it and then it goes up.
And I'll know do it just to annoy you.
No, you go ahead and pre-order, or not pre-order because it's now available. You go ahead and you buy that, and then I go to date and it's out of stock. I'll be greeting me.
In fact, let's have a race. Right, once we're off tonight, we'll both race to see who gets it first before it sells out. Right,
you'll do it quicker. You'll get there quicker. And I'm one of these guys.
I don't know, man. I can't even find my bank card.
Like, I'm honestly see the online shopping. It's too dangerous to have a one click and buy. That's where impulse comes in. So I didn't do all that.
I might do that sort of thing. I've got a Tommytronic 3D and a fucking Stretch Armstrong in here. This is dangerous for me.
Mate,
I got rid of my Stretch Armstrong. He fucking burst. He burst at the knee.
I've got Shofu Naki, SmackDown's #1 announcer, right? And Lord Zed sitting up there with Ric Flair, Hogan, and Andre the Giant. Then he talked to me about impulse buying.
Wait, I recently bought the 1997 Book of Guinness World Records.
Fucking hell. That was way before Rick Lee's Believe It or Not. Eh? Crazy. Crazy.
God damn. I love it though. I love it. I love all the impulses all the impulse buys that this podcast inspires me to do. I love it all.
Hell to the year. Matthew Moon says, thanks for putting me onto this. So many movies like this go missed. True that. Thank you to Arrow and all the good guys. Too many good movies do go missed, so we'll keep talking about them if we keep getting the opportunity to speak about them, and you guys keep buying them because that's the way you support these independent.
There's a great wee independent short film called A Good Night's Sleep. Keep your eye out for that one. It's an absolute cracker. Great performances by at least one is, and let's go.
You might never see it, so keep your eye out for it. All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you probably before Sunday because we're going to do a wee mid-week show. So stay tuned for all the announcements on that. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell all your pals about this. Let the channel grow. We grow, you grow. It means you can buy more DVDs, all that cool stuff. Or don't. Up to you, but we'll see you through the week. All right.
Or I'll see you through a windy.
Goodbye. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you later.
You just got to leave me hanging.